Mr. Bieshurtel, how much progress has been made during the meeting this week of agricultural ministers?
Not so much progress as I had hoped for, but we have made some progress with the setting up of the regulations for dairy products and rice. That's the second one, and the third one is, what's the third one? We have rice, beef and dairy products, of course.
Are you working under a sense of urgency at all, or are you...
We do, because we have to take account of the decision of the Council of Ministers of the 9th of May of this year, that we must have ready these regulations I mentioned a moment ago, the farm policy, and we must have ready the so-called Kennedy mandate for the Commission to open the negotiations with other countries to lower trade barriers between us and the rest of the world.
Your publicised deadline for these talks is the 31st of December. Do you think you're going to meet that deadline? Or is it flexible?
For one country it is flexible, and for another it is not, as you might have heard from my French colleague. I have in my mind, we mustn't be formalists. We must try to come ready as soon as possible. My view is, my taxation, that a political will to achieve something is there among the nations of, or 6 nations of the common market. But what we must do is combine something what we do internally within the common market, and at the same time establish sound commercial trade relations with the rest of the world.
Could you exemplify for me one problem, one of the sort which is giving you some difficulty? Problems of price or production levels?
Now, let me take an example that is interesting at the same time for us and for the rest of the world. It depends how the price level we are going to settle. For instance, we have to agree upon for beef. It's very important also, it's very important for stimulating beef production or not, and you imagine that is at the same time important for importers, because we are big importers of beef, of frozen meat from other countries, especially South America. And a second example is what we are going to do with the level of our grain prices, which are of the utmost importance, not only for our farmers and our consumers, but at the same time for the American farmers.
Outside the community and in the press within the community, there's been talk of crisis. Is there a sense of crisis, or is there indeed a crisis at all in the community over these issues?
After my experience now this week as president of the council, I wouldn't use the word crisis, but I would use the word emotion, tension, and that is so understandable with all the conflicting interests we have and with the enormous financial and economic interests of the affairs about which we talk. And then it is quite understandable that you get conflicts, what I call conflicts, tensions, and so on. But I shouldn't say crisis.
So you're not yet at the point of considering alternatives should a crisis develop, and in fact
no, not yet, and I don't hope it will come.
Thank you, Mr. Bieshurtel. Thank you. Is there an atmosphere of urgency in the council? Could you exemplify for me one of the problems of the sort which is causing delay? Some of the nations are not then sorry, I'll flub that one. Are some of the nations considering alternatives to the common market should such a crisis develop and break? Outside the community, and indeed in the press inside the community, there's talk of crisis. Is there a sense of crisis inside the council? Okay. Thank you, Mr. B. Circle. Thank you.